Most people think mixing alcohol is simple. You grab a bottle, pour in whatever soda or juice is nearby, and hope it tastes good. But that's actually the reason so many homemade drinks taste awful. The truth is that mixers work with certain liquors for a reason. Some enhance flavors, some balance the strength of alcohol, and some completely overpower the drink if paired with the wrong spirit. So in this video, I'm breaking down 8 of the most common things people mix with liquor, why they work, and which spirits they actually pair with best. Ice. Let's start with something that most people don't even think of as a mixer. Ice does 2 important things. First, it chills the drink. But more importantly, it slowly dilutes the alcohol as it melts. Strong spirits often contain around 40% alcohol, which can taste very sharp or harsh when consumed straight. When ice melts slightly, it reduces that intensity and allows hidden flavors to become more noticeable. This is why ice works especially well with spirits that already have complex flavors, like whiskey. Whiskey contains notes from barrel aging, such as vanilla, caramel, and oak. A small amount of dilution helps those flavors open up. Ice also works well with rum because many rums contain natural sweetness that becomes smoother when slightly diluted. However, ice alone doesn't add flavor. That's why it's usually used with spirits that already have interesting taste profiles rather than completely neutral ones. Soda water. Soda water is simply carbonated water with almost no flavor. Because of that, its job isn't to change the taste dramatically, but to make a drink lighter and more refreshing. The bubbles lift aromas from the alcohol and make the drink feel less heavy. This is why soda water works best with spirits that already have strong natural aromas. For example, gin contains botanical ingredients like juniper, citrus peel, and herbs. Soda water helps those aromas travel upward while keeping the drink crisp. It also works well with vodka because vodka is very neutral. The carbonation creates a refreshing drink without competing with the spirit. But soda water usually doesn't work well with darker, sweeter spirits like heavy rum. Since soda water adds no sweetness or acidity, the result can taste flat or unbalanced. Cola. Cola is one of the most widely used mixers in the world. Unlike soda water, cola is packed with flavor. It contains sugar, caramel notes, citrus oils, and mild acidity. Because of that sweetness and richness, cola pairs best with darker spirits. Rum is the most famous example. Many rums naturally contain caramel, vanilla, and molasses-like flavors. Cola shares similar flavor notes, so the two blend together smoothly instead of clashing. Cola can also work with certain whiskeys, especially ones with sweeter profiles. The sugar in the cola helps soften the alcohol burn while complementing the smoky or caramel notes found in many whiskeys. However, cola tends to overpower delicate spirits. For example, mixing cola with gin often hides the botanical flavors completely. That's why gin is rarely paired with cola. Tonic water. Tonic water is often confused with soda water, but chemically and flavor-wise, it's very different. Tonic water contains quinine, a compound that gives it a distinctive bitter taste. It also contains sugar and carbonation. That bitterness is the key reason tonic pairs so well with gin. Gin contains botanical ingredients like juniper, coriander, citrus peel, and herbs. These flavors naturally sit somewhere between herbal, citrusy, and slightly bitter. Tonic water reinforces that bitterness while adding sweetness and fizz, creating a balanced drink. This is why the gin and tonic became one of the most famous drinks in the world. Tonic water usually doesn't pair well with sweeter spirits like rum because the bitterness clashes with the sugary flavor of the rum rather than balancing it. Orange juice. Now let's talk about fruit juices, starting with orange juice. Orange juice is sweet, but also slightly acidic. That balance makes it excellent at softening the harshness of alcohol while still tasting refreshing. It pairs best with vodka, which is known for its neutral flavor. Because vodka doesn't have a strong taste of its own, the orange juice becomes the dominant flavor, while the vodka simply adds strength to the drink. This combination created the classic screwdriver cocktail. Orange juice can technically be mixed with many spirits, but it doesn't work equally well with all of them. For example, pairing it with heavily flavored spirits like gin can create conflicting flavors between citrus sweetness and herbal botanicals. That's why neutral spirits are usually the best partners for fruit juices. Lime and lemon juice. Citrus juices like lime and lemon are extremely important in mixed drinks because of their acidity. Acid acts as a balancing agent. It cuts through sweetness and alcohol strength, making a drink feel brighter and more refreshing. Lime juice is particularly famous for pairing with tequila. Tequila has earthy and slightly vegetal flavors from the agave plant. Lime adds sharp acidity that balances those strong flavors perfectly. Lime also works well with rum, especially in tropical-style drinks where it contrasts with rum's natural sweetness. Lemon juice, on the other hand, is often paired with whiskey. The acidity lifts the heavier flavors in whiskey and adds brightness without overpowering them. Because citrus juice is so strong and acidic, it can dominate lighter spirits if used too heavily. That's why bartenders carefully balance citrus with other ingredients. Ginger beer. Ginger beer is another powerful mixer. Despite its name, most ginger beer is actually a non-alcoholic soda flavored with ginger. Its defining feature is its spicy, warming flavor. That strong ginger spice works best with spirits that can stand up to it. Vodka is one example. Since vodka has a neutral flavor, the ginger becomes the star, while the vodka provides the alcoholic backbone. This combination created the Moscow Mule. Ginger beer also pairs very well with rum because the spicy ginger contrasts nicely with rum's sweetness. However, ginger beer can overwhelm delicate spirits like gin, masking the subtle botanical notes that make gin unique. Energy drinks. Finally, there are energy drinks. Energy drinks are sweet, highly caffeinated, and extremely strong in flavor. They're often mixed with vodka in nightlife settings. Vodka works best here because its neutral taste allows the energy drink to dominate the flavor profile. If a strongly flavored spirit like whiskey were mixed with an energy drink, the result would often taste chaotic because both ingredients are competing for attention. However, combining caffeine and alcohol can be controversial because caffeine can mask the feeling of intoxication. For that reason, many people approach these mixtures carefully. At first glance, mixing liquor might seem random, but in reality, most classic drink combinations follow simple flavor principles. Once you understand those patterns, the logic behind famous drink combinations becomes much clearer. And instead of guessing what to mix together, you start to understand exactly why certain pairings became classics in the first place.